Hallo en welkom by meneer Libbe se les oor voegwoorde. So, before we can start with voegwoorde, we have to look at stompie again. Because as I've said in the beginning, stompie is the foundation of everything in Afrikaans. So we have our S, which is our subject. We have our V1, which is our verb. Our T, which is our time. The O, which is our object. The M, which is our manner. The P, which is our place. V2, which is our verb 2. And the I for infinitive. So the subject is the one that's doing the work. The verb is the auxiliary verb usually. T is the time when it happened. O is the object. It's what the verb is being done to. The M is for manner, how the verb is being done. P for place, where was the verb done. Verb 2 is the action word, what was being done. The infinitive is the reason why they did that. To understand voegwoorde, we have to understand stompie. Because when you have to change the word order in a sentence, you have to know stompie to know where a word should change to. Same thing with voegwoorde. So voegwoorde or conjunctions is there to add sentences together. So we have two sentences, maybe three, and we have to join them together, and then we use a conjunction. So in Afrikaans, a conjunction is divided into three groups. In these three groups, we have different conjunctions, each with their own set of rules. Each one of these groups focuses on three aspects. Words in the group, number one. Where does my sin to verb move to? So where does my second sentence, the verb of that second sentence, move to? And then punctuation. So something we should always remember is that when I have two sentences to join together, I would never change my first sentence. I write my first sentence down as it is. I only change my second sentence. So group one. The words in this group, if I have the following at the end of the sentence, maar, en, of, want, and doch, which means although, not dog, then I know I'm in group one. And then I apply the following rules. The punctuation I use is a comma, and the verb in the second sentence stays the same. I just add them together. So if I have to remember this group quickly, I can think of meow and dog to remember my words in my group. But remember, it won't always be just these words in the group. Later on, as you progress through conjunctions and through the grades, then you will also add more words to this group. But for a basic introduction for conjunctions, these are the words you can remember. So how do I build a sentence, or how do I join those sentences together? I take my first sentence, I write it down, then I add my punctuation. The punctuation always goes before my conjunction. Then I write down my conjunction, which might be maar, it might be of, it might be any one of those. And then I write down my sentence too, because my verb in the second sentence stays in the same place. So you just write down the second sentence. So now, how do I use this in a sentence? My formula is, as I've said already, sentence 1 plus my comma plus my conjunction plus sentence 2. So our sentence 2, for an example, is ons hou lekker vakansie, which is our sin 1. Ons is by die see, our sin 2. And want is our voegwoord. So want means because. Ons hou lekker vakansie, we are enjoying our holiday. And ons is by die see, we are at the seaside. So as according to my formula, I write down sentence 1, ons hou lekker vakansie, then I have my comma, then I add my conjunction, which in this case is want, and then I write down sentence 2, because my rules say in group 1, the sentences stay the same. So then the sentence would read, ons hou lekker vakansie, want ons is by die see. We are enjoying a holiday because we are at the sea. So group 1 is the easy group, where I just add a comma and my two sentences are just joined together. And now we get to group 2. In group 2, I have words that start with a D. So all D words that I find in brackets as a conjunction are in this group except doch and dat. Because doch is in group 1 as we did, and dat will be in another group. So all D words, if a word starts with a D, I know immediately that it is placed in group 2. So my punctuation for group 2 is a semicolon, as it was a comma in group 1, now we have a semicolon. And my verb, because this group's in the middle, if I place group 1, 2, 3 next to one another in a table, as we will do later on, verb in the group 2 part is in the middle, because, as I've said, as I've put them together, group 2 is in the middle of group 1 and group 3. So that means my verb goes to the middle. That's a way to remember it. So my formula would be sentence 1, then my comma or semicolon, my conjunction, and then sentence 2. And remember to move my verb. So how do I use this in a sentence? Sentence 1 plus my semicolon plus my conjunction plus my verb plus my sentence 2. So our sentence is, ons hou lekker vakansie, we are enjoying our holiday. Sin 2 would be, ons is hartseer as ons moet terugkom, we will be sad when we have to get back. And my voegwoord is daarom, which immediately makes it fall into group 2 because it starts with a D. Ons hou lekker vakansie is our sentence 1, we write it down, we add our semicolon, we add down our conjunction, daarom, and then we write down the verb of the second sentence, is, because when we know stompie, we know that's verb 1, so daarom is, and then we, as we did with stompie, we start with the subject, and we write down the rest of the sentence. Daarom is ons hartseer as ons moet terugkom. So ons hou lekker vakansie, daarom is ons hartseer as ons moet terugkom. So now we get to group 3. So in group 3, I find all words that end with dat and wat. So a word like omdat would be in this group because it ends with dat. A word like so wat would be in this group because it ends with wat. So my punctuation, no punctuation. So group 3 is characterized by not using any punctuation when I join the sentences together. Because, as I've already said, group 2 falls in the middle, therefore my verb goes to the middle. Group 3 is at the end of those 3 groups, and my verb goes to the end of the second sentence. So my formula would be sentence 1 plus my conjunction plus my sentence 2 plus the verb of sentence 2. So in a sentence, it would be sentence 1, conjunction, sentence 2, verbs. My sentence for now is, ons is baie hartseer, we are very sad. Our second sentence, ons moet huis toe kom, we have to come home. And my voegwoord is omdat, immediately placing it into group 3. And then I start with my formula. I write down sentence 1, which is, ons is baie hartseer. I write down my conjunction, omdat. Then I write down sentence 2 without the verbs, ons huis toe, and then moet kom is my verb 1 and my verb 2. Ons is baie hartseer omdat ons huis toe moet kom. Can you see now why it's important to understand stompie? Because I have to know where my verbs are placed to be able to move them. So to recap, I have 3 groups of conjunctions in Afrikaans, which are characterized by the words in that group, the punctuation I use, and what happens to the verbs. Group 1, all my words there are meow and dog, maar en of want and doch. Group 2, I find words that start with a D, except doch and dat. Group 3, all words ending with dat and wat. Punctuation in group 1 is a comma. Group 2, it's a semicolon. Group 3, it's no punctuation. Remember, the punctuation always goes before my conjunction. That's very important. Then my verbs in group 1 stays exactly where they are. Group 2, my verb moves to the middle because, as you can see there, it's the middle group. And then group 3, my verbs move to the end because it's the last group. And that is a basic introduction to conjunctions of voegwoorde. Thank you.